hashtag for Kyle.
For Ninong.
For Ninong. There you go. For Ninong. Prayers up.
How about Ninong Strong?
Ninong strong.
Hey, bro, you're a milk guy.
This guy is a calcium expert.
Daryl is wearing a tracksuit. And he's wearing glasses, and he looks like Vector from Despicable Me. That guy from Despicable Me.
Welcome everybody. Welcome back.
Back.
Favorite show. This is the Large Guys podcast. It's the best show not on television, and I'm your host, Joseph Quiray, and I'm joined by
A guest.
one of our regular co-hosts.
You're joined by a guest of the show. Hey guys.
Paulo Salazar. It's been a while. I mentioned last episode, we've all been kind of doing our hot boy summer type stuff. Everyone's been pretty busy. So, been trying to find ways that we can do some content in the meantime, but now finally been able to have a little bit of time here. So Pau, how have you been? The viewers haven't seen you since probably like July. So what's going on with you?
July, dude, it might have been
June, honestly.
Or that, or maybe May.
No, I think June. Yeah,
maybe, but
something like that.
probably like the finals. So I don't know. No, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
even
we
know.
talked about the finals. Yeah, I think that was the last thing. We did.
But I've been good, just staying busy since the world opened up. I think there's a lot of things that happened, but I don't know. And it's hard to be in front of a camera nowadays when you're just seeing people face to face. You missed it so much that you just want to stay away from the camera.
You got camera shy
kidding.
over the last 2 months.
Yeah, I got camera shy. Also, I didn't really have much to talk about. I was I don't carry the show like my other co-hosts do, Joseph, Daryl, and Kyle. I'm just here for the vibes. But tonight I'm gonna do my best to carry the show. Just because the other two are slacking.
You kind of have to. Yeah. Speaking of our other co-hosts, we don't know where Daryl is. As per usual, Daryl didn't respond to me today after he said he was going to be here. So, prayers up to Daryl. Hopefully he's all right. But for our other co-host, Kyle, and this is something that we'll follow up on probably the next time we do this, but Kyle's been placed on administrative leave. I wouldn't say we had a falling out or anything, but we had to suspend Kyle for a bit without pay, and we're still working out the terms of the suspension. But I think around I think Thanksgiving is what we agreed on. Yeah. Thanksgiving is when Kyle will be back. So if you're here for Kyle, you might have to wait till end of November for him to come back. But it's a bit of a touchy subject, right? We don't really need to go into detail about that, right?
I don't even know who the guy is anymore. No, I'm kidding. Keep the man in your prayers. He's out here grinding, yo.
He is. No, my man. I think he's putting so much time into what he loves right now, which is great, and it's literally taking all the energy out of him, which is why he can't be with us. But yeah,
he'll be back. He'll be back for a homecoming. Yeah,
he'll definitely. We'll definitely build to a mega show. We'll go 4 hours for Kyle.
No.
Before we move on, some special things maybe you want to talk about a little bit, but you did start a new job. We were just talking about it.
Sure.
How does it feel to be have a fresh start in your professional career?
I guess I did get a new job, but you guys don't really care about that. But I guess it is the opportunity's been nice. The fresh start has been cool. Pretty much at home most of the time working. So I get to save up on gas, which is probably the biggest thing for me, and not drive my car around like I have been the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Save up on not eating out so much during the week. It's a bunch of different things that you guys wouldn't think about when you're talking about a new job. But other than that, the job is cool. I don't want to really go into details about it. If you want to know about it, hit my lineup, call me up, or wait for the next episode to drop. Maybe I'll talk about it then.
Yeah. Can they reach out your office phone?
Yeah. Call me at call me. Phone number is gonna pop up right here, bro.
Right there, yeah.
Right there.
So before we move on, do you like the working from home setup a lot better?
It's weird, bro. This is literally my setup right here. When I have meetings, like
You have the mic
this
too.
is it. I do not have the mic, and I'm usually using a different computer, but I have my screen set up. Shout out to Arvin Okendo. Joseph was
Also,
buying.
you end up buying.
I did buy a screen from Arvin at a good deal, and it's been my lifesaver. I've been spoiled with having like two screens back at work, my old job,
Yeah.
and I couldn't go back to one. And so, no, it's just not. I mean, working from home, there's definitely its pros. Obviously, like you don't have to shower right when you get up. You know, I mean, you should. I shower every day, so like,
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't shower when I wake up in the morning unless I
Mm.
want to. You know.
Yeah.
But I do wash. I get up and wash my face, brush my teeth because it just feels
Okay. Well, that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
definitely. And I take a shit, and like you got to get all that out of the way. And so I just roll out of bed. I make sure I have to. Not that I didn't fix my bed before. I mean, maybe like 80% out of like 100. But now I always have to fix my bed no matter what, just because.
Right. It's in the background.
Yeah. And my room's a lot cleaner nowadays because I can't have my workspace being messy. Let's see. I get to be with my dog. Like Hallie's always just chilling with me.
Nice.
I get to work out like for my lunch break if I really want to, because I don't really eat anymore from when I'm working from home.
Hmm.
I just don't really get hungry. So it's either like I'll have like a light snack or like a little shake, and then I'll have like a dinner.
Okay.
That's it.
Nice. Yeah, definitely working from home, it feels like you have more time to, I mean, you definitely have more time to yourself because you're at
Yeah.
home.
It's definitely weird because the week that I was in the office, I was definitely like, just the day went by so fast because I was just working like straight 8 hours, and then I was like, oh my gosh, it's time to go. But here at home, you kind of just like working, and then you get up, do something, and then like your laptop is always here. Like if like right now, I could like get on work and pretend like I'm just watching. I was like, I'm just watching TV. I'm not really working. It's like it's all good. And then you just kind of have to learn how to just like take a step back sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
So not too bad. I can't complain.
Same. Yeah. I mean, I'm like in a hybrid as well. So like we do 5 days in the office, 5 days at home. So, and it's a weird thing because it's like Thursday to Wednesday. So like we're recording this on Wednesday. What's today's date? Wednesday, September 5th. It's payday for me. Actually, I should have known that. But
Dang, payday.
Yeah,
Venmo me, bro.
But we do like a Thursday to Wednesday. So tomorrow I'm back in the office till next Wednesday, and then I'll be at home the next Thursday. So it's kind of a weird thing, but
Yeah, that's a little weird.
it is really weird. Luckily, my first week we had Labor Day off, so I technically only worked 4 days in the office. But it's a weird thing to do middle of the week switch, but it is what it is.
So you're in the office every week?
Technically, yeah.
Okay. It's just day like half and half kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I mean, I like being in the office is nice. Like it's cool.
Right.
The coffee's really good over there.
Nice.
I don't know. And like I like to get dressed up sometimes, like put on some khakis and button up, like like
Sure.
and it's really cold in the office. So like I get to wear like a little quarter zip, like like
Mine is too. I have a jacket that I leave at my desk.
yeah, and
It's cool.
but-
I'm like right under the vent, so it literally goes right on top of me, like all the AC.
yeah, I mean,
Sucks.
but I mean I can't complain. And also my office isn't like in Irving, so if it's a far drive for me.
Yeah, for sure. Other things that we can't complain about. Nice little segue there. Shang-Chi came out a couple weeks ago. And this is, at least for us as Asian Americans, very important movie for us because this is the first time we're seeing. Obviously, we had Wong, who is also Asian, but he's kind of like a sidekick. But this is the first time that like a Marvel superhero is the main focus of a movie and the culture and all of that behind it. And so we definitely wanted to just talk a little bit about this, give our thoughts, a little bit of a review. We're not going to go like scene by scene or whatever, but just talk about certain themes that we like, certain characters, high points.
Right.
The first thing, and this is something that both of us have talked about that I'd like to go into, is this one is a Marvel movie, right? Oh, we got a little mukbang action here too. What do you think?
Before we hop in, I'm just eating an ultimate meat and cheese burrito from Sonic, just to get my protein intake in.
I like that.
It's so good, bro. Honestly, the breakfast burritos at Sonic, you guys are missing out if you don't eat it.
And it's cheaper, right, than the regular.
It's cheaper and it's huge. Look at this, bro.
Yeah, sure.
And it's pretty filling. But anyways,
yeah. But yeah, something we talked about is that this is definitely a Marvel movie, but it doesn't necessarily feel like your typical Marvel movie, if that makes sense. So that's something that we can go into. But I think a lot of the, I guess, more cosmic stuff that's being shown and like the visuals, the effects were just off the charts, by the way, for this one. It has me really excited for Eternals coming up in a couple months, but the visual effects in the fight scenes and in other certain scenes was just crazy. And it made this movie a lot different than your usual one. But how did you feel about that?
Yeah, no, there's definitely some things that captured like my attention immediately, because there's a certain points when you watch a movie, it's like, all right, when are we gonna see him with the 10 rings? Like, when are we gonna see what he's capable of? Like especially for me, because I Simu, the first time I really seen him act was in Mr. Kim's Convenience Store, which is like pretty much like a little comedy thing on Netflix. And you would not expect him to transition over to become a Marvel superhero. So I was like, all right, man, let's see what this guy's made out of. And I mean, like, talking about action scenes, or like, you think about like any Marvel movies, especially the individual movies, you can think about every movie has like an iconic scene that's like, oh yeah, that's the one, right? And you can just even think about like any Marvel movie, any superhero movie, there's got to be some sort of like bus scene or like car or train scene, right?
Something that wouldn't actually happen. Yeah.
I feel like there's always a train scene or a bus scene, at least in any of the Spider-Man movies or something like that. Right?
Also, like Scarlet Witch, or not Scarlet Witch, the Black Widow one where they jumped out of the plane, and
there's always something about like automotives or something. But the scene that like just hooked me was like, oh, it's like that, huh? This is gonna be like that. Was the bus scene?
Yeah.
Spoiler, like that bus scene was insane and had a ton of action, and that's kind of where we first see him in action.
Yeah, first time he's like actually fighting. Yeah.
And so, in terms of like it being a Marvel movie, it's definitely new. Like, there's new aspects that they brought into it, but it still felt like Marvel. Not like it felt new, but it was like, I'm not surprised that Marvel did this. Like, this is the new way. Yeah. This is the way now. Like, this is where we're going.
No, for
especially with just like any cosmic things, like since Thanos, like, it makes sense. You're like, oh shoot, like, this is it.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we've seen cosmic before, like that's all Doctor Strange, is. And obviously, like, the crazy thing about Doctor Strange is that was such a mind-blowing movie, and yet that's not even like scratching the surface, because we know there's a lot coming. Obviously the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're in space, and so is Captain Marvel.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So like, but this is like slightly different, where it's rooted in like, traditional like Chinese history mixed with like space stuff, because as we saw at the end, there's like a little beacon in the 10 rings that is giving off some kind of signal to something. So I don't know, we don't know what it is necessarily, but there's something that's being set off from these rings that's going to attract, maybe in the next Shang-Chi movie or the next big team up, like these rings are going to have implications moving forward, because as they mentioned in the beginning, the rings aren't from Earth. They're from somewhere from outer space, and it's unknown. Like, not even Captain Marvel in that one of the post-credit scenes, not even Captain Marvel
knows what it is
from. So that's a very interesting thing. And speaking of the rings, I think the rings look super dope. In the comics, the 10 rings are like rings that they put on the fingers.
That's lame, bro. That would have been lame.
It's cool. Like, it's all right, but the decision to make it into the bracelets that go up his whole arm, super dope. Like that was probably one of the best decisions for them to kind of go away from the comics. And
Imagine them being from the actual fingers.
yeah, it would look weird. Can you imagine if they did that scene where they're like tied up and it's just from their hand?
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
But yeah, definitely it looks more powerful. It kind of reminds you of in Kung Fu Hustle, and I think like traditional, I think like Kung Fu, they have like the little iron bracelets that people use to kind of help block stuff. So it kind of reminds you of that, and just
Right.
the way that you can throw them and then catch them and all that stuff. Like it looks a lot more powerful. Also like easier to kind of like use versus like the rings. Like they're like that tiny and you throw them at somebody. It's like getting hit with a paintball, right?
Yeah.
So like.
It's like, are they gonna expand if they did that?
Yeah, right. Like once you take them off, it
Mhm.
like Ant-Man. But yeah, so definitely that decision to make the rings look cooler, and the glowing effect of like when it's on Wenwu's arms, it's blue. I think that's more of like him being like a more cold like figure, I think.
Right.
Versus when it's with Shang-Chi, who's like a more fiery, like he gets the orange. I think that's a really cool
The
contrast.
aura.
The scene where they're tied up and it's half blue, half orange, that's like the money shot, I think, in terms of like if there was one crazy visual that was just like super cool, that's what they were going for.
My thing is, I wonder, like, I just thought of this now. Like, what was Wenwu like doing the past couple of years? Like, he definitely would have whooped some ass. Like, I know he's not really like a good guy, or not necessarily like a villain ish. Not really, right?
Like he's kind of like a tween or a little bit more evil than good, but
Yeah.
he's misguided, basically.
I wonder, like, if where was he during all this time, like during the Avengers time?
That's true. Yeah, I'm sure. And that's the cool thing that gives them the opportunity if they wanted to tell that story of what Wenwu did, before, like a little prequel of like, badass stuff that he did before. Because I mean, they talked about how like
He's lived for a long time, right?
he had those rings for like thousands of years or like 1,000 years, something like that.
What?
I think, right?
Yeah, that's what they said. Yeah.
So there's about 1,000 years you could have him show up in different like historical events like that. So I think
someone's definitely getting a show.
Yeah. And honestly, like I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, but the actor who played Wenwu did a great job. And
yeah, he was cool.
A lot of people said that him as the anti-hero was a really good job. Similar to like how Killmonger was like, he was technically the bad guy, but there was some like sympathetic aspects to his character. Obviously, you felt bad that all he wanted was his wife back, right? Like that's why he was doing this, and he was kind of blinded by that. But at the end of the day, he did it for love, technically, right? Which is kind of a good, I guess, segue into the theme of family. If you wanted to comment on that, but I think family is such a big thing. It's very important. It's kind of like the foundation of this movie, and it has plays off of like real world stuff, because like within Asian families, obviously maybe like depending on what part of Asia you're from, the dynamic of family is slightly different. Us coming from like Filipino versus like Chinese, Vietnamese, all that. But at the end of the day, like it's still rooted in a very similar foundation of like family is very important, and the dynamic of like the father, having certain expectations for their children, sometimes neglecting one over the other, the heartache as a child of not wanting to do what the parent wants to do. Like that's something that all of us
they definitely knew what they were doing, bro.
Yeah. So how did you feel about the family dynamic of, let's just keep it simple with like Shang-Chi and Wenwu, and then also you throw in Xialing, the sister.
Yeah. Well, obviously, bro, like Shang-Chi, bro, he saw some stuff as a kid that he shouldn't have not seen, dog.
Yeah, his dad murdered somebody in front of him. Like,
bro, like what? And so he definitely just, he definitely was going through some stuff, and all he could think about then was doing whatever his dad told him to, because he probably felt that it was his fault that his mom died because he just stood there and did nothing as a kid. And so he definitely had that strained relationship with his dad, and that's why he was so angry in the end, and that he was even like willing to kill him. But he had a little change of heart, understood what he needed to do. And as for the sister, I mean, she just felt like she was always neglected, wasn't able to just partake and she wanted to do what everyone else is doing. That's why she just went off and like did her own thing, became a badass of her own. And but no, the family, you can definitely tell like from the get-go that I was like, wow, that's a big thing. And you could even like, if you have a heart of some sort, I feel like you would get a little like touched from some of the scenes in the movie, especially about family. Even Aquafina's little family situation.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, when are you guys gonna get married? I was like, bro, we ain't even freaking dating. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and that's interesting you bring up Aquafina's character, because something, I might be reaching, but something I noticed, I watched the movie twice. So I watched it the night it premiered and then like the Sunday after that. So I got a chance to watch it the second time while it was pretty fresh. But I noticed in that scene where they're at Katie's house, the grandma is talking about offering up, like stuff to, sounds like her late husband, right? The grandpa died. And the connection that she still had to him, while even though she was alive and he wasn't, I think that kind of foreshadowed a little bit of Wenwu's connection to his wife and wanting to stay connected in some kind of way. But to the point where he thought he could bring her back. Like the difference was that, Katie's grandma was trying to just honor the dead, and Wenwu was literally trying to bring the dead back to life. Yeah. But I think
he didn't even believe she was dead.
That's true too. Yeah. He thought
he eventually believed, was like, oh shoot, she's alive. I was like, no, bro, she literally died, dog.
Yeah, and I think that's I think it's what I really appreciate is that they did a good job of representing, Asian culture, especially like Chinese.
They really did.
And they did it in very obvious ways, and then in very subtle ways, similar to how like they just briefly talked about the grandma wanting to offer up, certain things to the dead. And that's like a traditional thing they have there. So I love the subtlety and the obvious, because you don't have to throw everything at us and like pound us that this is about Asian culture. This is about Asian, but like,
for sure,
make it feel normal and natural type stuff. That's
what honestly, to be honest, like when I came in and watched the movie, or like waiting for the movie, like back in my mind, I knew it was like obviously Asian representation and Asian culture, but like I don't really go watch it for that really particular. I just watched it because I watch all Marvel things.
No, for sure, yeah, of course.
But then when I was watching, I was like, yo, this is dope because of the Asian representation. I was like, oh, I know that, dog. Oh yeah, I eat that. Like I have eaten that before.
Exactly, yeah.
And then obviously the karaoke scenes were hilarious. Like shout out, because bro, I've been an advocate of Hotel California my entire life.
Yeah,
probably a top 10 greatest song ever, maybe top 5 best solos ever.
Yes,
maybe. I don't know, you can quote me on that, but then so it was kind of awesome that they did that, and it's hilarious.
Is that something that you might try out? Like if for some reason like you're in a situation where you're confronted by somebody that wants to get physical, are you gonna start
singing it
in the Hotel California?
Yeah, maybe, dog. Maybe I'll just do it right. I'll probably, catch me next time if you're just being weird. I'm gonna just start singing Hotel California in your face.
I hope that some kid that's in like 5th grade like watches this movie, and like if for some reason they're confronted in that situation, they start doing it because they think it's gonna work.
That's the only part of the song they know. They don't even know the rest.
Exactly. It's literally just the 20 seconds that she say.
Like, who sings this song, Mom?
Exactly. Yeah. I did want to go back to Xialing, because that was another character. I think they had a lot of good, strong characters.
Oh yeah.
And Xialing is one of those characters. Obviously, spoiler alert, but Wenwu dies, right? He gets like the soul sucked out of him. But Xialing moving forward, along with Shang-Chi and Katie, are going to be characters that we're going to be seeing going forward. And Xialing is going to be very important because she's now assumed control of the 10 rings,
right?
which makes so much sense. It's very fitting that she's taking over her father's empire after being a self-made woman,
Yep.
kind of combining, what she has with what he has. And now she's going to be this like international force.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily know if it's going to be like totally evil or anything, but it kind of seems that way. But do you have any expectations of like, where because they said the 10 rings will show up, right? And
Right.
where would you want to see the 10 rings pop up going forward, within the next year or so?
Before that, with her character, I honestly wish it was her that like maybe stuck an arrow or her little blade thing into the evil the little monster.
Me too. I personally didn't.
I think everyone did.
I didn't like that Katie was the one.
Yeah, a lot of people. I talked to Kiana about it. It's like, bro, she had like 2 hours of practice.
Exactly. That's like, I can suspend my disbelief on certain things, and maybe I'm thinking it more as Aquafina shooting that and not Katie. But
maybe, yeah, that's probably why they were all like,
she literally hit the shot of the century.
She did, dog.
After a day of I don't know, but
no, I think everyone understands that. I mean, we would have all rather had the sister. It would have been sick if the sister had come down like little like whip.
Something, yeah, that would be super dope.
Bro, gosh, come on, bro. But as for the 10 rings, I personally hope that like she keeps up the underground fighting, so we see like different like characters fight, and that'd be sick. But I think they'll probably show up in like Captain America or something.
For sure. Yeah, I think especially with Power Broker stuff and
yeah,
I think anytime
that lady, what's her name?
Sharon Carter.
No, the recruiter,
Tessa something.
That shit. Yeah, she'll probably try to come and find them or her.
I could definitely see that happening. Yeah, I think anytime that weapons are going to be sold, and rings will be around,
or like an army being built.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, for sure. Like,
or she shows up in Doctor Strange because she has a relationship with Wong.
That's true too,
right?
Yeah, see that, and that's cool. Like, I think it's cool that 10 rings could literally show up almost anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think Marvel does a good job of like characters don't have to stay within their realm. They could literally, it would make sense for them to show up in so many other places. So I think that's actually really cool.
And they definitely got that written down. They already know where they're going to
be. Yeah. So we're going to be wrapping up soon, but I got just a couple more things. One of them is just I think another like more Asian theme or like traditional thing is that being like one with nature. So obviously it was big for Shang-Chi, especially coming from his mother's side, and the type of way that they fought from where she was from Ta Lo. Right, it's Ta Lo, right? How you say it?
I forget, bro.
I think it's Ta Lo. And I kind of looked it up, and obviously they took inspiration from Tai Chi and those types of movement, more like natural, one with earth type. You see like them being able to bend wind and water and stuff. I thought that was really cool. And then you have the contrast of the way that Wen Wu's teaching Shang-Chi to fight, which is
aggressive
kung fu based. Something I heard is that it's like very similar to how Jackie Chan fights, like his specific martial arts. It's like a different type of kung fu, I think. And just how it contrasts, and how like obviously both fighting styles are effective, but it looked like from Ta Lo, the way that they were approaching it, and not just trying to be aggressive, but finding power through their surroundings, were effective. And I think we saw that obviously when the mom and the dad were fighting each other, which was a beautiful scene.
That was amazing.
But how did you feel about that kind of dynamic?
Yeah, no, with the different fighting scenes, if you're just like, I'm no like fighting expert whatsoever, but I've seen a lot of martial arts movies, and you'll always hear something about like, you have to be one with yourself in these fighting instances. You cannot fight like you're fighting yourself, or blah blah blah, like all these things. And you hear it, and when Auntie was telling Shang-Chi is like, do you what does she ask? Like, do you even know yourself or something like that? Or like
Oh my God, yeah.
someone like, have you accepted the past or something like that, right?
Mhm.
And then once he realized that, like he understood who he was better, which is like, that's your typical like um protagonist character in
Yeah.
any fighting, like you understand yourself better, you fight better because you're fighting for something more yeah, like more, I guess, just better. And you're not really fighting for like anger or whatever, right? His
Yeah.
purpose in fighting changed.
Yeah.
And I was a little shook when they brought up the what is it, what is it,
Hello.
the Tao like fighting style. I was like, yo, bro, we got Avatar the Last Airbender up in this
Yeah,
mother.
yeah,
Like,
for
what
real.
is going on, dog?
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, who is this chick? She's kind of bad. I was like, I'll fight you any day. But and then she just owned him. It was like, yo,
Yeah.
she owned him to where this dude fell in love.
Yeah, like she was doing that Matrix,
Straight up. And she's straight up like just controlling like nature, which was sick. And Ben, I got a little like emotional when Shang-Chi started doing the movements,
Yeah.
right? And then he was the flashback to when he was a kid, and then he was doing it, and
Yeah.
then he got the rings, and you're just like, oh, that's sick, bro. It was very like fulfilling, or kind of like he was both like he is as a person is both from his mom and his dad, and he had like
Yes.
used it both, and you're
Best
like,
of both. Yeah.
he accepted who he was. That's what he accepted who he was, and he
Yeah.
was able to take control of the rings. It's
Yeah.
very like
Definitely. And I think it was important that the auntie, like when she said, like, do you know who you are? I think she was trying to unlock
mm,
side of his mother's side with it.
right.
I think that like you're more than, just what you've learned from
Your
your
dad, yeah.
mother too. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, that's gonna wrap us up because we are a bit short on time, but I think we're able to talk about some important stuff. I think my final words are I'm really happy again that we have, an Asian superhero at the forefront, similar to, and I saw a lot of tweets about this, like for the Black community when Black Panther came out, and they're like, we have our guy now. And for us, we have our hero too.
Rest in peace, Chadwick.
Yeah, rest in peace, for real. But they still have that franchise, moving forward. And for us, we have Shang-Chi, we have Simu Liu, who's at the forefront, and he's been killing it with all his his
Social media
stuff and like understanding. And he's like, yeah, I have to be the guy now.
He's funny
For sure.
I can't wait for him to like get integrated within like the Marvel. Yeah,
because I'm kind of interested to see like where does his strength match up against Thor?
I mean, it's Thor, bro. It's Thor.
Yeah, but I think he's got, especially once he like really masters the rings. Those rings are, that they're like,
and he's Tao Lo, bro. He's Tao Lo.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he's already ahead of he's ahead of Hawkeye.
I don't know, dude. We'll see in this Hawkeye series.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Everything like we're learning different things about all these different characters.
Yeah. But yeah, and then also
out there.
Yeah, also be on the lookout. We also have a Filipino superhero in Marvel. I think she was just created either this year or last year.
She'll come up eventually.
Ari Agbayani. So that's pretty dope. And she's like in the Captain America universe. So I don't know if she's gonna be like Captain America herself, but we'll see how that goes. But that's cool for the Filipinos here.
We'll see. It could be Hiddling.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm just watching this movie, and it's just especially with the first end credit scene, you're like, oh, we're back at it again, baby. Like,
yeah. Like
after Endgame, they gave us Spider-Man to hold us off, and then obviously we like with a series of shows, we're back in it. Like, we're back in the game. We're watching Marvel stuff again. We're in phase phase 4, and it's about to get crazy.
Yep. Do you have any other final words or?
I mean, go watch a movie if you haven't. Like, what the heck, bro? And if you guys are watching this without having seen it, this is your fault. Like, you guys know that with any like big Marvel movie, like you're given like at least a week and a half, like to get through it without like
Exactly.
once if it's spoiled for you, that's your fault. You gotta go watch it. You know, like
I agree. Yeah. The true fans go and watch it at least within a week or two of it releasing.
yeah, come on, like
But yeah, so that'll wrap up our little review. Obviously, we couldn't get to everything, but we
next
tried to
time.
get the most important things. Yeah, I'm sure because Daryl has also seen the movie. I'm sure we'll kind of bring it up again. And honestly, more and more is going to happen. So we'll probably revisit the Shang-Chi stuff.
If you guys
Thank you
have
guys for.
and if they have anything like they want to add, just freaking, I don't know, swipe up, bro.
Yeah, we'll definitely put something on the story. You know what people think and whatnot. You know, try to get some fan interaction.
What's your favorite karaoke song? You know, like
yeah. If you could sing with Katie and Shang-Chi and Wong, what would you choose?
What are you singing? What are you singing and what are you drinking?
That's a good one. Yeah, that's definitely one we can bring up. But yeah, that'll wrap up this episode. Thank you guys for watching. We hope that you guys, stay tuned for more stuff. Hopefully we get Daryl and back with us at some point. We can do more stuff moving forward whenever something important's going on. But continue to support us. Subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere and anywhere you can find us or listen to us, please. And if you have a friend that wants to subscribe to us, let them know they can subscribe because we're almost there. And maybe by the time Kylle is back from suspension, he can finally put Pau in a triangle choke. But until then, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for supporting us. We'll see you next time. Peace out. God bless.
We both went like this.